No one will love you until you understand this. Carl Jung and Zen teachings. Why do you keep attracting the same heartbreaks? Why do your relationships feel like a never-ending cycle, even when you change partners? It's not just bad luck, it's psychology. Carl Jung uncovered a truth that few people understand. The love you receive is not determined by others. It's a mirror of what you unconsciously project. Until you grasp this, you'll keep repeating the same painful patterns. Have you ever felt invisible to someone you loved? Given everything, only to receive nothing in return? If so, stay with me. Because today, we're exposing a hidden, psychological mechanism that controls who loves you, who leaves you, and why some people seem to find love effortlessly, while others suffer through heartbreak after heartbreak. Is love truly random, or is there a deeper reason why certain people enter your life? What if I told you that your past relationships hold a secret, one that can completely transform the way you experience love and connection? By the end of this video, you'll see love through an entirely new lens. And once you understand this, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Before we begin, let me ask you, have you ever noticed repeating patterns in your relationships? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your experience. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because we uncover the hidden truths about the mind, psychology, and relationships every week. Now, let's dive in. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract love effortlessly, while others struggle with endless heartbreak? Is it just fate, or is there a hidden force shaping your relationships? Psychologists, spiritual teachers, and even ancient Zen masters agree on one thing: love is not random. It's a reflection of your subconscious mind. Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers in psychology, discovered that we don't just fall in love with people by chance. We attract relationships that mirror our hidden beliefs, fears, and desires. Until we become aware of this, we're trapped in a cycle, repeating the same painful mistakes over and over. But here's the good news. Once you recognize the subconscious patterns controlling your love life, you can break free. In this video, we're going to reveal the invisible psychological mechanism that determines who loves you and who walks away, how your past relationships are shaping your future without you realizing it, the Zen principle of self-awareness that can transform your love life forever. Stay with me until the end, because this knowledge will change the way you see love, relationships, and even yourself. Before we continue, comment below. Have you ever noticed a pattern in your relationships? Let's uncover the truth together. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss deep insights on psychology, love, and the power of the mind. Now, let's dive into the hidden truth behind love and attraction. From the moment we are born, our perception of love begins to take shape. Without realizing it, we internalize messages from our environment, how affection is given, when it is withheld, and what is required to receive it. These early experiences form the blueprint of our relationships, dictating who we are drawn to and how we behave in love. Carl Jung believed that much of what influences our romantic life exists beyond conscious awareness. He introduced a concept that explains why certain patterns seem impossible to escape: projection. This psychological mechanism occurs when we unknowingly assign our own thoughts, emotions, and unresolved conflicts onto others. Instead of seeing people as they truly are, we see reflections of our inner world. For example, if someone struggles with deep feelings of unworthiness, they may enter relationships where they constantly seek validation, often attracting partners who reinforce their fears by being emotionally unavailable or indifferent. On the other hand, those who suppress their own confidence might feel irresistibly drawn to charismatic, assertive individuals because they embody a trait they unconsciously desire for themselves. But projection is not just about attraction. It also explains why certain behaviors in others trigger intense emotional reactions in us. Have you ever met someone who instantly irritated you, even without a logical reason? Jung's theory suggests that what we dislike most in others is often something we have rejected in ourselves. This is why some people feel repelled by arrogance, while others admire it. Our reactions to others are mirrors of our own psyche. The challenge is that projection happens automatically and without our awareness. We repeat old patterns, choosing partners based on familiarity rather than genuine compatibility. If someone grew up associating love with instability, they may subconsciously seek out relationships filled with drama, mistaking it for passion. If love was conditional in childhood, they may believe they must earn affection, staying in unhealthy dynamics long after they should have walked away. What makes this cycle so difficult to break is that it feels comfortable. Even if the outcome is painful, the mind seeks what it knows. This is why people often say, "Why do I keep attracting the same type of person?" The truth is, attraction isn't just about physical preference or shared interests. It's about what resonates with our subconscious programming. Zen teachings align with Jung's philosophy, emphasizing that the way we perceive the world is shaped by the mind's conditioning. According to Zen, we do not see reality as it is. We see it through layers of past experiences, assumptions, and unresolved emotions. This means that if our inner world is chaotic, we will experience chaotic relationships. If we carry wounds from the past, we will see those wounds reflected in the people we attract. The key to escaping these repetitive cycles is awareness. We cannot change what we are unaware of, but the moment we begin to observe our own patterns, we create an opportunity to break free. Instead of seeking love to fill a void, we must first understand what that void is and why it exists. Instead of blaming others for our relationship struggles, we must ask, what part of me is contributing to this pattern? Jung believed that self-awareness was the first step toward true transformation. Until we acknowledge the unconscious beliefs shaping our romantic life, we will remain stuck in the same experiences, hoping for different results. Zen philosophy adds another layer to this, teaching that by observing our thoughts without attachment, we can begin to dissolve the illusions that keep us trapped. Imagine looking at your relationships not as a source of validation, but as a mirror reflecting the aspects of yourself that need healing. What if every attraction, every rejection, and every emotional reaction was an invitation to understand yourself better? What if, instead of searching for love outside of yourself, you first learned to recognize and accept the love within? This is not just about relationships, it's about liberation. When we stop projecting unmet needs onto others, we no longer chase love out of fear, desperation, or habit. Instead, we create connections that are genuine, fulfilling, and rooted in emotional wholeness. The external world changes the moment we shift our internal reality. The love we receive is never about luck or fate. It's a direct reflection of what we have come to believe about ourselves. Stay with me, because in the next section, we will dive deeper into how to rewrite these unconscious patterns and create a love life that aligns with who you truly are. From the moment we enter the world, we begin absorbing unspoken rules about love, attachment, and self-worth. These beliefs, often inherited from caregivers and early experiences, shape the way we navigate relationships as adults. While some people seem to naturally attract fulfilling connections, others find themselves trapped in cycles of heartbreak and disappointment. But why? The answer lies in something hidden beneath the surface, our unconscious emotional patterns. Carl Jung believed that much of human behavior is dictated by forces we do not consciously control. He proposed that deep within us exists what he called the shadow self, a collection of traits, fears, and desires we have suppressed because they were deemed unacceptable at some point in our lives. The more we reject these aspects of ourselves, the more they influence us from the background, silently shaping the relationships we attract and the emotional dynamics we experience. For example, if someone was constantly criticized in childhood, they may unconsciously expect rejection in romantic relationships. Even if they long for love, their hidden fear of abandonment can cause them to sabotage connections before they even begin. They might push people away, assume the worst, or settle for relationships that confirm their belief that love must be earned through suffering. On the surface, it may feel like bad luck, but in reality, it is the subconscious mind repeating a familiar narrative. This is where the principle of repetition compulsion comes into play. Jung, along with other psychologists, observed that people tend to recreate early emotional experiences, even when they are painful. The subconscious seeks resolution, meaning that if love once felt unstable or conditional, a person may be drawn to situations that repeat that instability, hoping to finally fix what was broken in the past. The tragedy is that, unless awareness is developed, the cycle continues indefinitely. Zen philosophy offers a different perspective on the same issue. In Zen teachings, suffering in relationships is not caused by external circumstances alone, but by attachment to conditioned thoughts and emotions. The mind clings to what is familiar, mistaking it for truth. If someone has spent years believing they are unworthy of love, they may not even recognize genuine affection when it is given to them. Their internal conditioning distorts their perception, causing them to reject the very love they crave. One of the greatest challenges in breaking free from these patterns is that the mind resists change. Even when people become aware of their emotional tendencies, they often struggle to act differently because their nervous system is wired to react in specific ways. Emotional responses such as jealousy, insecurity, or fear of abandonment do not arise by choice. They emerge as automatic responses to triggers that awaken old wounds. Jung emphasized that the first step to transformation is integration. Instead of rejecting the parts of ourselves we dislike, we must learn to bring them into awareness without judgment. This is where shadow work becomes essential. Shadow work is the process of recognizing and accepting the aspects of ourselves we have suppressed, whether that be our need for validation, our fear of loneliness, or even our deep desire to be seen and loved. When these hidden emotions are acknowledged, they lose their power over us. Zen Buddhism teaches a similar principle, the art of detachment. However, detachment in this context does not mean avoiding relationships or becoming emotionally numb. Instead, it means observing thoughts and emotions without becoming consumed by them. When someone feels an intense fear of abandonment, for instance, instead of reacting impulsively, they can pause, recognize the emotion, and remind themselves that fear is a conditioned response, not a reflection of reality. This level of self-awareness is not something that happens overnight. It requires patience, self-reflection, and sometimes even discomfort. But the reward is immense. When people begin to question the automatic thoughts and fears that drive their relationships, they create space for new possibilities. Instead of repeating the past, they become capable of choosing how they want to experience love. Think about it. How many times have you reacted to a situation without truly understanding why? How often have you assumed someone didn't care when in reality they were showing love in a way you didn't recognize? These misunderstandings are not coincidences. They are rooted in deep-seated emotional blueprints that filter the way we interpret the actions of others. By becoming aware of these internal scripts, we gain the power to rewrite them. Instead of unconsciously attracting relationships that mirror past pain, we can begin attracting connections that reflect our emotional growth. Instead of chasing love to fill a void, we can learn to cultivate it from within, making relationships an extension of our wholeness rather than a desperate attempt to feel complete. The greatest transformation happens when we stop blaming external circumstances for our love life and start looking inward. When we stop viewing relationships as sources of validation and instead see them as mirrors of our inner state, everything changes. Love is not a mystery. It is a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. And once we understand this, we can finally step into the kind of love we have always deserved. Every relationship we experience is a reflection of our inner world. Whether we are aware of it or not, the way we connect with others is shaped by the beliefs, emotions, and unresolved conflicts buried deep in our subconscious. Love, attraction, and even heartbreak are not just random events. They follow a pattern, dictated by the way we see ourselves and the expectations we hold about intimacy. Carl Jung's concept of the anima and animus provides insight into why we are drawn to specific people. He believed that within every individual exists a hidden counterpart, masculine energy within the feminine psyche, animus, and feminine energy within the masculine psyche, anima. These unconscious archetypes influence our perceptions of love and shape the qualities we seek in a partner. For example, if someone has a distorted or incomplete connection with their inner anima or animus, They may project unrealistic expectations onto their relationships. A person who suppresses their emotional vulnerability may find themselves irresistibly drawn to partners who embody deep sensitivity and emotional depth. Conversely, someone who has not integrated their assertiveness may admire and even idealize individuals who exude confidence and dominance. The attraction is not simply about personal preference. It is a subconscious attempt to reconnect with a missing part of the self. However, these projections often lead to disappointment. The idealized version of a partner rarely matches reality, and when the illusion fades, the relationship begins to unravel. The person who was once seen as strong and protective may later feel controlling. The one who seemed mysterious and emotionally deep may later be perceived as distant. This shift is not because people change, but because we were never seeing them clearly in the first place. Zen philosophy approaches this idea from a different angle, emphasizing the concept of impermanence. In Zen teachings, suffering in love arises from attachment, not just to a person, but to an image of what that person should be. When we expect a partner to fulfill roles based on our unconscious needs, we set ourselves up for inevitable frustration. No one can live up to an idealized fantasy forever. Real love requires seeing and accepting someone as they are, not as we want them to be. One of the greatest challenges in relationships is learning to differentiate between genuine connection and emotional dependency. Many people enter relationships not out of true love, but out of an unconscious desire to fill an emotional void. If someone has unresolved wounds from childhood, such as neglect, abandonment, or conditional affection, they may unknowingly seek partners who provide a temporary sense of security. The problem is that this dynamic leads to clinginess, fear of rejection, and an inability to function independently. Instead of love being a conscious, healthy exchange, it becomes a need-based attachment that drains both individuals. Jung believed that true transformation comes from integrating the unconscious mind into conscious awareness. Instead of looking for external validation, we must first explore what aspects of ourselves we have ignored or repressed. Are we seeking love to avoid loneliness? Do we expect a partner to provide emotional stability because we lack it within ourselves? These questions require deep self-reflection, but they are essential for breaking unhealthy cycles. Zen teachings align with this perspective by emphasizing self-sufficiency in emotional well-being. Rather than depending on others for happiness, Zen encourages cultivating inner peace so that relationships become an extension of that peace, rather than a desperate search for fulfillment. Love flourishes not when it is used as a crutch, but when it arises from a place of inner wholeness. Understanding this can transform the way we approach relationships. Instead of seeking someone to complete us, we begin to focus on self-growth, recognizing that the love we attract is a direct reflection of our emotional state. When we do this, the kinds of people we draw into our lives also change. We no longer find ourselves repeating the same toxic patterns because we have addressed the root causes that once drew us to those situations. The challenge, of course, is that most people are unaware of these unconscious processes. We assume that love is something that happens to us, rather than something we are actively shaping through our perceptions and behaviors. This is why self-awareness is the key to transformation. The moment we begin to question our patterns and recognize the deeper motivations behind our relationships, we create the possibility for real change. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This could not be more true when it comes to love. If we do not examine our deepest fears, desires, and emotional wounds, they will continue to shape our relationships without our awareness. But once we bring them into the light, we gain the power to break free from old cycles and build connections that are based on authenticity, not unconscious projections. Zen philosophy takes this idea one step further by teaching that love is not something to be possessed. It is something to be experienced in the present moment. The more we let go of rigid expectations and illusions, the more we allow love to exist in its purest form. Rather than forcing relationships to fit an imagined ideal, we learn to appreciate them as they truly are, free from the weight of the past or the anxiety of the future. The secret to lasting, fulfilling relationships is not about finding the perfect person. It is about understanding yourself. When you become conscious of your own patterns, embrace all aspects of yourself, and cultivate inner stability, love ceases to be a source of suffering. Instead, it becomes a space of mutual growth, respect, and genuine connection. And that is the kind of love that not only lasts but transforms everything it touches. Love is not a mystery, nor is it a game of chance. It is a reflection, a direct manifestation of the beliefs, wounds, and expectations we carry within us. We spend our lives searching for the perfect partner, hoping that love will magically fall into place, yet we rarely stop to question what truly drives our desires, fears, and choices in relationships. The patterns we experience are not coincidences. They are signals, messages from the subconscious urging us to pay attention to what remains unresolved. Carl Jung taught us that until we bring awareness to our unconscious mind, it will continue to shape our reality without our consent. Every relationship we enter is an opportunity, not just to connect with another person, but to understand ourselves more deeply. The conflicts we face, the emotions that arise, and even the people we attract all serve as reflections of what is happening within us. The question is, are we willing to see the truth? Zen philosophy offers a powerful reminder: attachment to illusions is the root of suffering. When we expect others to complete us, to heal us, or to fill our emotional voids, we set ourselves up for disappointment. True love is not found in possession, nor is it built on dependency. It is cultivated through self-awareness, acceptance, and the ability to experience connection without losing ourselves in it. The more we understand and integrate our own complexities, the more fulfilling and harmonious our relationships become. If you've ever wondered why you keep encountering the same challenges in love, perhaps it's time to stop looking outward for answers. Instead, turn inward. Observe your emotions without judgment. Identify the patterns that keep repeating. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Because the love you receive will always mirror the love you have for yourself. In the end, love is not something we chase, nor is it something we earn. It is something we become. And when we embody it fully, without fear, without expectation, without the weight of the past, only then can we experience love in its purest, most transformative form.